Aloha and welcome to Mystery, Mystics, and Metaphysics. I'm your host, Psychic Intuitive Geralyn St. Joseph. Today, we're going to talk about crystal balls, how you can read them, what different types of psychic skills you need to be able to read a crystal ball, and what it's called, where it's from, what type of ball you need, all that kind of good stuff. So let's get started. The first thing is that a lot of people don't know what crystal gazing actually is. And some people think there's a difference between gazing and scrying. I'm going to say crystal gazing throughout. I'm going to try to keep saying crystal gazing throughout. There isn't much of a difference between gazing and scrying. You're using the same faculties oftentimes. You get slightly different communication from them. So when we're talking about scrying, you're talking about using usually a dark reflective object. So you'll have like this is an obsidian bowl. Most people have bigger ones, and you put a little bit of water in there. You might drop wax and different things like that. Here's another scrying mirror. So this is copper, or you could use a regular mirror. I have a whole video on scrying, so I'll see if I can put that in the doobly doo when we're done. Crystal gazing. Crystal gazing or crystal ball gazing is something that is very misunderstood, especially when we talk about movies and television and the way it is depicted. 9 out of 10, when you watch a TV show and they're going to go talk to a psychic, they have this big crystal ball in front of them, and stuff comes up in it, and there's fog and all this other kind of thing. The first thing is the crystal ball that you utilize does not need to be clear, and in fact, for a lot of people, if it's completely clear and there's nothing in it, number one, that's usually poured glass. But number two, if there's nothing in it, it's not as easy to throw yourself into the center of the ball. When you're focusing on a crystal ball, you tend to move into it. You're with a soft gaze and you're just focusing on the center. So this is my poured crystal ball. This was my very first crystal ball given to me by my friend in 1995. It has been with me for a very long time. So she is poured crystal. Behind me, I have several other types of crystal balls just to show you the size doesn't matter and the type doesn't matter. What you need to do is find what pulls you most. What crystal ball do you feel most comfortable with, or do you like to look at the most? That's always a good thing. And I'm also going to describe a different way to do crystal ball reading, which is not crystal gazing. It's different, it has more to do with the gemstones and what's in the crystal ball. So my second big crystal ball is this baby. This is, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it at all. This is a rainbow obsidian. You could kind of see the circle there. It flashes on both sides. One side is purple, the other side is blue. It's really beautiful in the sunlight. Obsidian is an excellent gazing tool or scrying tool because it is so dark and so reflective. It's easy to really sink in there. Then, just to show you size comparison, so this is pretty much a regular sized crystal ball, and this is slightly bigger. Then you have really big ones, but this is probably the most common size. Can you do crystal ball gazing with a crystal ball this size? Absolutely. The size of the ball really doesn't matter. It's about your focus and your focus on it. There we go. I have all these stands, and then I move them and then I don't see them. So this is another crystal ball, the same size, or pretty much the same size. So This is pyrite. And if you see this crystal ball, there's a lot of texture to it. This is like my favorite. I guess technically it's not a crystal, but um, this one has a lot of texture to it and has a lot of what's called windows. And windows allow you to peek into the crystal or into the stone. And then we have this little guy here. So this little guy is labradorite. This is an excellent stone to do this type of work with because, as you can see, I'm not sure how much you can see, but there's different layers to it. So there are parts of it. You see that flash there in the bottom, that gold, that type of flash and that type of intricacy inside the crystal ball allows the mind to do more with it. So this would be a lot easier to gaze into and to do a reading with than this, unless you're very focused and you have opened up your psychic senses. Okay, so that's all the crystal balls that I have out with me right now. So when you're preparing to do this, a good thing to do is, like all your crystals, before you start using any of them, you make sure that they are cleared. And what do I mean by cleared? Cleared and cleansed. As you're handling them and other people are handling them, they pick up energy. That's what they do. They also give off different types of energy depending on the type of stone that it's made out of. So these crystal balls that I had, what I like to do is I use rose water. I love rose water. It's good for so many things, but it's also one of the highest vibrations on the planet. So it's really good if you want to do a quick cleanser to get all the negativity away from you. If you're trying to figure out if something is yours as opposed to someone else's, you do your quick spritz and then you'll be able to tell. So I'm going to spritz my crystal balls and I will then, massage the water into them a little bit to help clear them. You can also clear it, bless it, and program it the same way that you do any of your other crystals. And I have other things online that show you that. So I'm not going to do it right here, right now. Since you could use rose water, you could use blessed water. Some people like the Florida water. So anything like that. You can also use sound to, let me see. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is going to record it properly or not, the way the sound is, because I usually have something up in the top that will allow me to change the audio setting just for a minute so that you can hear the reverb. Here we go. And all right. They changed that too. Okay. I am going to do this real quick. And with that, you can help to cleanse the stones. Okay. Then I'm going to put that aside. You could also use a bell. Okay. So cleansing and clearing your stones is important. When you're not using them, it's always good to have cleansers around it. So there are certain stones that are naturally cleansing and naturally protective. You have things like amethyst, which of course I didn't put any amethyst. Oh, here we go. We have amethyst here, And this is another type of amethyst. So amethyst will gently remove any negativity. It will also change the vibration, uplift the vibration of everything around it. So it's a natural cleanser. Some people like to use selenite as a natural cleanser. And this also has a nice cleansing, very gentle kind of soothing vibration to it, which helps the stones. The other thing you would want is to have grounding stones around them also, because after you do a reading with, or you do any kind of crystal gazing, you want to ground afterwards, because this type of reading requires you to go more deeply into your intuitive senses. So, in order to pull yourself back into your body completely, it's good to have some grounding stones. And I just did a whole video on grounding stones. But this is black tourmaline, which is an excellent grounding stone and also a good cleanser. And this is carbon quartz. Also, smoky quartz is good too for that. Carbon quartz has additional properties to it and is a little bit more powerful than a simple smoky quartz. I also have moss agate, and moss agate is wonderful to a wonderful grounding and cleansing stone. And we also have hematite. Hematite, you see how it's metallic. So this is a good scrying stone also, if you wanted to use that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get ready by blessing and lighting a prayer candle. Whenever you're doing scrying or crystal gazing and that kind of thing, you want more muted lighting. Usually, I have a lot more light coming up on this side, which I do not have on right now, in order to make it to give us more the vibe of what we need in order to do this well. So I have my handy dandy candle. Oftentimes, when you're going to do this type of either scrying or candle gazing, you want to have candlelight is best. It doesn't have to be candlelight. It can be just a muted light like this. I don't know if you could see how it kind of flickers. There you go. Now you can see it better. It's for Halloween. Or you could also do the light of a Himalayan salt lamp like that, because they're much more subdued than the cat's like, Mom, what are you doing? I don't know. So I'm going to put this back here. If it reaches, and it doesn't, okay. I'm going to put it back where it was. All right. Okay. And it's always good to have water whenever you're doing any type of reading or any type of psychic work or intuitive work. You want water around to be able to cleanse your palate after you're done, and also to remove any negativity from your being that may have wandered in while you're doing your reading. So in order to, this is a crystal water bottle. It's glass. And then you see in the center, it does the chips, and you could change those. These are rose quartz. And I have another one, which I haven't used in a while, which I like just as much. And that is a solid clear quartz crystal that's in the center. And if you get this type of crystal, you can change it. So these are really nice because then it infuses the water with whatever the crystal is you have inside. So let's take our water and we're going to bless it. I bless this water into the service of my soul, and I program it for my highest and greatest good and the highest and greatest good of those connected to me. Amen. And kiss. I kiss everything. Adds a little oomph. And then we're going to do the same thing with the candle, and we're going to program the candle in a specific way. Now, if you're doing it this just to do readings, like I'll have this candle as a protection candle and a clearing candle. But if you're doing it just to do the readings, you don't need something this big. You could use a smaller candle where the light will flicker on your gemstone, and that may work better for you. So I bless this candle into the service of my soul, and I program it for the highest and greatest good. Amen. Okay, and then we're going to there we go. All right. So, and the one other thing that you can do if you would like to, this is a little bit of sage. So I do a little smudging of myself and of my stones and my equipment there. Okay. And then I put it there. All right. So we have that. All right. Now what we're going to do is go into a little bit of a meditation. And the way that crystal gazing works is you select your crystal ball. You can also use other shapes. The ball is used primarily because it effuses the energetic out throughout in every direction. However, just to do the gazing, you can use other shapes. For instance, a lot of times I will use, I have a lot of heart-shaped stones, and like this one has a window in it, which I will show you. It's right there. There you go. Oh, you can see it. So, and this is carnelian. Carnelian is a beautiful stone also. Any type of agate, because it's got layers, is good for this type of work also because it gives you some place to go, some place to focus on it, and then it morphs and becomes other things. Don't get upset with yourself if things don't work the first time. This takes a little bit more practice than other things. It's not like reading tarot or oracle cards where automatically you can use the symbolism in them to give you a place to start. And then with doing scrying or crystal gazing, it's a little more about getting deep into your psychic senses and allowing you to use it. When we were talking about this, I was talking about, well, what psychic gifts do you use when you're doing this type of scrying or crystal gazing? Well, you use your intuition, and depending on what is strongest with you, Pika, I am not getting up right now. What is strongest for you, it can trigger your clairvoyance. It could trigger your clairaudience. Clairvoyance is the top, though, because you're going to see things in the crystal that stop. You're going to see things in the crystal, and then it's going to morph as you get deeper into your meditation and into your intuition. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to do a little meditation So, yes, my familiar wants to participate. My little Pikachu is bugging me. Um, choose your stone, whichever one you want to work with. And I'm gonna use this one. You want to hold it. If it's too stop. If it's too big to hold, you want to put your hands over it because you're sharing energy with it, is what you're doing. You're becoming connected to it. Okay. Is everybody ready? Stop. If you hear me yelp all of a sudden, it's because she bit my leg. Because she's looking at me like I'm dinner. She's already had dinner. Stop. So okay. Take a deep breath and release and relax. And again. And breathe out slowly. Relax. There's a ball of white light above our heads. From it emanate shafts of light that enter us to the tops of our heads and fills us with its energy. Feel the energy as it courses through you, balancing, cleansing, protecting. See yourself as glowing from within. Feel the energy as it emanates throughout your body and connects with your crystal, waking it up, bringing it to life. We ask for your assistance here in helping us to discern that which Spirit wants us to know. And then open your eyes if they were closed and take your crystal and stare into it. And feel yourself from your third eye being pulled forward. You want to venture within. Continue to breathe deeply. Soft focus your eyes. Ask your question if you have one. Allow the pictures to form. It may be a still shot. It might be a movie. And as you delve deeper into the crystal, bringing the message in sharper focus. Finish your conversation. Thank you for your assistance. Pull your energy back into your body. Take a deep breath. And let it go. Feel your feet and your hands. You're back in your body. The ball of white light ascends back into the heavens, leaving a soft white glow on all that it touched. Okay. All right. So now we could put our lights back on. Maybe not this one, because that is way too bright. You could turn the lights up in your room. If you have a pen and paper, which I should have told you to get beforehand, jot down what it was that you saw, and you can write down any impressions that you got from what you saw. So you may have seen figures. Like I said, it could have been a movie where it was more coherent. You might have just gotten faint glimpses. So anything that you think you saw, you want to write that down real quick. That way it doesn't leave you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can put it on pause while you do that. So I'm just going to write down a couple of things that I saw. So the other side of that is that you can do readings for other people using your crystals, crystal sphere, or if you wanted to use, like if you have a palm stone of some kind, whatever the shape is, doesn't really matter. You're basically using the same process to do that. Then when you're done, what you want to do, as we mentioned before, is you want to pick up some of your grounding stones and hold them for a couple minutes after you've written down what you saw, because you don't want to lose that, and then feel yourself completely coming back into your body. So once we're grounded, then we can talk about the different things that we saw and we felt. So when you're doing crystal ball gazing, could you stop? Sorry. When you're doing crystal ball gazing, what you're doing is taking note of all the sensations. So you may be getting words, you might be getting messages, you might be seeing things, you might be getting emotions, like emotions will just kind of wash over you. And you're just taking note of these things. And then together they will form a reading, either for you or for someone that you are reading for, that you're doing this for. So I am going to pause right now. Okay. And if you're part of Mystery Mystics and Metaphysics on Meetup, then you could sign up for these gatherings and then you could be part of the after party where we talk about things. Also, I'm going to be doing something similar on YouTube as a YouTube live. So watch out for that. Like and subscribe. The other thing that we were going to talk about is that there are several different ways to do crystal wall reading. So that's crystal gazing. And what we're talking about are readings. So, crystal gazing is one form of reading crystal balls. The other form, the first time I ever had crystal balls read for myself, the first time I met someone who did it was in Hawaii back in 99. And she had the whole table was filled with all these different kinds of crystal balls. They were all different colors and shapes and sizes. And what we did was we did a little meditation first. And then she asked me to select any of the balls that were calling to me. So, you know me, I wanted all of them, but I had to keep it to like 3 to 5, I think is what it was. And what I did was with each one that was calling to me, I held it in my hands. And I held it and I thought for a minute, and then I would go and I would get the next one. And as I did each, she lined them up in front of her in the order that I had done them. And by doing that, she could then do a reading. So what she did was she would touch each as I had touched them, and then she would get the energy off of them and connect with me that way. So it's a crystal reading using crystal balls. You could do that kind of a method also just using crystals, where you just have all the crystals in front of you. I used to do it with having a bowl of crystals, and I would either lay them out for people or they would just be in the bowl, and I would have them close their eyes and feel through the bowl. And then whatever called to them is what they would pick up. And then I would read that crystal. So, crystal ball reading can be done in a very similar way. Another way to do it would be if you had your crystals out and then someone selected one, you could read that specific crystal ball for them, because there's something about that, the energy of that particular crystal, that is calling to them to be read. So that's the way I was taught, and that's the way I learned. Yes, you can use tumbled crystals. You could use tumbled, you could use raw, whatever you feel drawn to. And we can, at some point, if you guys want to, we can do just using crystals, like all different types of crystals, and how to read them. It's good to have a basic understanding of the properties of each crystal, but just like the tarot, that's not always what you're reading. With the tarot, when you're looking at it, different things will pull you each time. So by the same token, you have a crystal. This is, I love this crystal. This is moss agate, and it's got a little heart in there, and it's amazing. It has so much energy in it. It's got all these different things going on. So this crystal, a moss agate, could be about grounding, being one with the earth, and this, that, and the other thing. But if somebody picks it up and they hold it and they hand it to me, I might get something completely different off of it. So don't limit yourself to your knowledge. Allow your intuition to lead the way. It's not about getting into your left brain and being all logical and, oh, I got to remember this and that. It's about your, allowing your intuition to really flow and really get out there. There we go. My camera's not liking that it was darker in here. So, knowing that and knowing um, that you can use different types of crystal balls and that they all serve different purposes. Another way to do it is if you have a crystal ball like this that has more like there's more to it. There's a lot in there. So when you're going into a crystal, like we were talking about gazing into the center of the crystal or going into the crystal, being pulled into that energy, when you have something like this where you have all these windows show you different things and have different energies to them. So you could see like one looks like, wait, where is it? Right up there. One looks like a little heart, and then you have like a smiley face, and then you have all these different things. So as you're looking into it and you allow yourself to be pulled into the crystal, you'll get different things by looking at it. Like this part of it. Wait, there we go. I am dyslexic, so that is my excuse for everything. So here, oop, right there, that looks like a tree to me. If you look at it, some people might say it looks like a skull, or it looks like a head, or it looks like, I don't know, a an elephant or something. So whatever it is that it looks like to you, it's your word association. Then what does it mean to you? And then you go from there and let your intuition tell you things, because a lot of times your intuition is going to say stuff and you're like, what is that? But it's something you want to delve into because your intuition sees things that you can't, and it makes connections that logically a lot of times we don't. Everything is connected. We're in this big web, everything is connected. And that's something I feel as people, we try to put things into these little boxes, we try to put people into these little labels, and the world does not work that way. As much as some people would like it to be, it does not work that way. Everything is connected. So when you're on one part of the web, it affects another part of the web. And that's the way we need to acknowledge that that we're moving through the world, and that what we do does affect other people, whether we recognize it or not, whether they recognize it or not. So one of the audience members just said, oh my God, I had the word spider in my head. And then you started talking about a web. That's what I mean. We're not even in the same room. We're on Zoom. So these connections do come out, and they do express whether we believe in it or not. It doesn't really matter. Your belief has nothing to do with the reality of the situation. So that's it for that. I'm not going to go on my on any kind of a rant with that. So when we're talking about using crystal balls for reading, the two ways to do it is to scry into the crystal, and the other way to do it is to feel the crystal and use the crystal itself. So using several crystal balls as opposed to just one. If you're using just the one and you're able to hold it in your hand and look at it, I tend to get the most information that way. Not everybody is the same. Sometimes it's nice to have it on its little stand and you're not touching it. You're just allowing yourself to look into it, soft focus into the center of the crystal. And then when you get in there, then you start seeing things and feeling things. And whatever comes into your mind is what you want to look at. Even if it's like, oh, I need eggs. I gotta do this tomorrow. Look at it and let it go. Who knows? Maybe you need to buy eggs tomorrow because they're going to be out after that. Spirit might be telling you something. So, again, what the process is very quickly is you get your crystal balls or crystal ball, you cleanse it, clear it, program it for doing readings when you're going to do that. And you could cleanse it with holy water, with rose water. You could spritz it. You could hold it and do the white light with it. You could put it in the moonlight. All these different things will help cleanse and charge your crystals, including your crystal balls. Again, word to the wise. If you have a clear crystal ball, do not leave it anywhere near a window or where sunlight is going to hit it. It will start a fire. This is a fire hazard. I love it. It's my favorite. I've had it for a long time, but I do not leave it in the window. I do not. So even if you want it to have moonlight, make sure that you only leave it out while you're awake and you take it out of the window, because when the sun hits it, this acts as a magnifying glass and you will have a problem that you don't need and that you don't want. Okay. So again, you don't need a clear crystal. You could use any type of crystal. You go with what you feel more drawn to. And even if you're like me and you have a bunch of them, then it's whatever you're drawn to that day. Does anybody have any questions or any comments that they want to talk about? So this, I would say, is something that crystal ball gazing and scrying are two things that are for people who are a little more practiced with their intuition. Some people get it right away. And when I've taught a scrying class in person, we had people doing readings within an hour. But unless you have somebody like that who's going to support you and help pull that out of you, then don't get discouraged when you're trying to do this and you're not getting much in the beginning. It takes practice. It takes the ability to really go within and really have faith and trust in what you're receiving. Okay. So practice, practice, practice. And the practicing is fun because it's meditation, you're being calm, you're allowing yourself space. And this was a gift from one of my mentees, Sormore. She's an amazing practitioner. So if there aren't any other questions, we're going to get on to the part where we have a conversation, and that will not be public on YouTube. If you want to be part of these discussions, come to meetup.com and look for Mystery, Mystics, and Metaphysics. And my name is GeralynStJoseph with a G. I'm in Brookhaven, Pennsylvania. Sometimes you have to put in the area. And that's how you would join our group. And then you would be informed of these. And then you would come on Zoom and connect with everybody. Okay. You have a great night. Many blessings. And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, or if you would like to have a reading of 100 different kinds, you can find me at Geralyn at voiceofspirit.com. GeralYN, Geralyn at voiceofspirit.com. And you can find my websites, voiceofspirit.com or GeralynStJoseph.com. Saint is ST. Thank you very much and have a great evening.